Hi, I'm David.
And I'm Gail, and welcome to Florence.
Well, it's actually Firenze, and it's actually not welcome to Firenze because we've been here for 2 days now, and we've just, we're just catching up, I guess, so to speak. It was in some respects, a really glorious 2 days. Had a lot of fun in Firenze, but it started off kind of hard, didn't it?
It did, just in the sense that when we arrived on Friday, we arrived at about 11 p.m. And we had to pick up something to eat for breakfast in our hotel, which is kind of like an apartment. And then we had to get up really early because we had a booked event at 8:15.
For sure, yeah. That was to climb the campanile of the Duomo in Florence.
Yeah, it's over 400 steps, as if we hadn't had enough to walk up the day before when we were walking.
Yeah.
But so this is kind of the director's prerogative that you will see this at the start of our weekend in Florence, and but just know we're a little bit wiser.
Yeah, and rest assured that you'll see 2 days worth of activities that we did here, and I think you'll find it's a very neat place to visit. A little bit crowded, very touristy, but definitely a must-see place when you're in Italy.
For sure. So we hope you enjoy watching it. We certainly had a lot of fun this weekend.
Okay, bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
So, as we said, our first order of business was to climb the Campanile, which is right beside the Duomo, or the cathedral of Florence.
It's really part of the complex. So there you see climbing 414 steps. The tower is 278 feet high, and it dates back to 1334.
Yeah, has spectacular views up there, that's for sure.
It is. There's several levels where you get off, and so you see different views, different vantage points. Of course, the gem is the dome of the beautiful, beautiful Duomo.
Yeah, designed by Brunelleschi, a very famous Renaissance architect.
We're going to be going into that dome a little later.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But you can't get enough of it, and it does dominate the skyline.
Yes, and you are smack beside it. Anyways, here we are right in front of the Duomo, just entering it now. Looking up to the center into the Brunelleschi dome.
And you see the glory, and then here we are engaging in, you can see, suffering from walking and that earlier tower of the morning.
So we're actually walking in between the inner and outer layers, the exterior and the interior of the dome, on our way to the top. Again, more spectacular views up there.
And you're getting both exterior views and later on interior views of the dome within.
That's right. So the tour of the dome was quite worthwhile. It's very hard to get. You have to book your tickets well in advance to be able to do it. We ended up actually having to take an Italian tour because there was no English tours available, even though we started reserving, I think, well in advance of our trip.
Sure. So, wow.
So it's lunchtime after all that climbing.
Sublime to the ridiculous.
Yes. So we're in the Central Market now, and I'm having a sandwich just to get things started. This is called lampredotta, which is actually, you'll be happy to know, it's the fourth and final stomach of a cow, and this is a Florentine specialty, along with tripe sandwiches as well. I had to choose carefully between the two.
Tripe is merely the lining of the stomach.
Yes.
This is a specific
right,
stomach.
Yeah. So the lampredotta actually apparently derives from the lamprey, the fish, because I guess the stomach sort of resembles a lamprey eel in some respects. So anyways, it was quite good. They dip the top bun in sort of a oil or sauce.
They rely on a lot of herbs.
A lot of herbs in there too. It's fairly spicy, so there you can get a good look at it. And I would say that if you're there, I would not feel squeamish about having it at all. It was really quite mild.
I had a bite, and I have to say it was quite delicious.
Quite good, yeah,
yes.
yeah. So it was. I'm glad I had it, and I probably wish I had more. But anyways, if you are in Florence, this is definitely a thing to do. So as you said, this is the central market. We went upstairs and
We went
had
to a
our-
wine bar and had different bruschettas.
Yeah, so that was good. And our next port of call was another church. This is the Basilica di Santa Maria Novella, and it's very close to the main train station in Florence. This is a Dominican church. It was completed in the mid-14th century. It's probably renowned mostly for its facade, which was is a high Renaissance facade, very important. Was reworked by the famous architect Alberti. Inside, it shows its roots of the church, which is more of a Gothic style, with some very important artworks in there. Chapel by Brunelleschi, for example, inside, and some interesting cloisters as well, gathered around the main church itself.
It's difficult to imagine that a structure of such greatness wouldn't be the major cathedral or in the city, but that's just how rich Florence is in terms of ecclesiastic art and art generally. Just passing through the Piazza della Signoria, one of the major squares of the city.
Yes, we're just wandering around a bit before our really big supper, which is coming up. Something that we've looking forward to and have booked well in advance. And we're at the Regina Bistecca. Now, bistecca alla Fiorentina is a specialty of the city, really. What it boils down to, it's a very, very thick T-bone steak. The preferred thickness is about 3 to 4 fingers thickness, and it's a steak that should be aged about 15 to 21 days. And then it should be cooked about really lightly, at just about 3 to 5 minutes per side, and always on charcoal.
Right.
And there's no seasoning added at all.
Well, pinch of salt, they
Pinch
say.
of salt, but that's just when it's served to you, really, at that point. So it's very, very much a pure steak. So anyways, it's quite a feast that we had. We had our steak. This is, by the way, we selected a steak that is from the Chianina breed of Tuscan cattle, and it's supposed to be one of the best. Anyway, so that's our steak being all sliced up for us, both sides of the T-bone, tenderloin.
So
and
it
the other
does,
side.
it also includes the sirloin and the tenderloin on either
that's
side, right?
And we had a complete, more or less, meal package, which included, you saw before, 3 levels of antipasti. We also got a cream spinach for it, and it was potatoes, yeah. It's almost like a scalloped potato in a way. Very creamy scalloped potato, so with garlic, of course. Anyways,
Tuscan wine.
yeah. So it was a pretty fine meal, I would say, and we're just, what better way to end off a dinner than to have a little passeggiata in the evening,
That's
going back
right.
to our apartment.
So we did a little bit of people watching.
Yes. And you can see how close the restaurant is to the Duomo. Everything's pretty close to the Duomo.
It is. And the Italians are very good at floodlighting their landmarks.
Yes. Well, it's a new day, and what a better way to start the day than to go to one of the world's major art galleries.
Yes, the Uffizi Gallery, which is housed in a U-shaped building. It occupies the first and second stories of a large kind of palazzo that was built between 1560 and 1580.
Yeah, and the gallery contains basically it's the art collections of the Medici family, and it's particularly known for its collection of Italian Renaissance artwork, paintings and sculptures primarily. It's interesting that this gallery is a really early public gallery. It was opened to the public in 1769.
Before then, it was only by invitation.
Yes, for a short period.
I'm sure we would have been invited.
Yes.
We are now at the Piazzale Michelangelo, It's a vantage point that people climb to see the city. And oh, there's a bronze replica of the David statue by Michelangelo himself. And we wanted to visit this Basilica di San Miniato because, well, we were looking forward to some Gregorian chants.
So we got up there, and it was again a beautiful church once more. There was a christening going on at the time,
There was.
so it was really quite noisy with kids all over the place. Yeah.
Yes.
And it seemed to go overtime, and then we waited for Vespers, and then I think eventually they got to the Gregorian chant part, and
They did.
Yes. So you've just heard some samples of the Gregorian chant that I recorded. So now we're just heading back down, and we're up at the overlook basically, and you can see how busy it is. This is all just a gathering spot, a fun gathering spot for everybody. It's a spectacular place to go to, I think. And
I think they're watching each other as much as they were looking at the city.
For sure, yeah. So it's just sort of a great way to end our day, really to end our time in Florence. We're going to be winding down the stairs back into town, back into a park.
In the dark. Look, the sun has set while we were
Yeah.
at the overlook.
Right. And so we hope you enjoyed this, and that you'll see us on our next walk.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.